Hi there guys, and welcome to round 3 of the Mclaren VS Ferrari co-op career mode here for the Portuguese Grand Prix at the Algarve International Circuit. And today we will be trying to close the gap on Tom, as he is still 15 points in front of us and we failed to score in both of the opening races, which means that this race is extremely important. And as you can see at the moment, we are looking through our research and development and seeing if there's anything that we can upgrade to give us a little bit of an edge, because in the last episode we saw that Tom had a little bit more performance than us as some of his upgrades went through. However, all of ours failed, so we are currently a little bit lacking in the performance department. But yeah, here we go, on to qualifying now. And as you can see, both me and Tom were both dreading this session, because being at Portugal, it's not our favourite circuits for either of us, and in the wet just makes it 10 times harder. As we head into turn 1 now, taking it very tentatively. There are quite a few corners on this track that both myself and Tom agree that are basically spin central and very easy to spin the car around. That was one of them. Turn 4 there, ladies and gents, as we head on down the hill now into this very tricky left-hander. As we come out of it, looking strong so far. It's been a pretty decent lap, much better than I thought it would have been, having seen the rain so far. And this is the next corner that catches a lot of people out, including myself. Turn 8 going up the hill. It's very, very easy to lose the rear end there. I've done it so many times, and yeah, but it's looking like a very controlled lap so far, just heading corner by corner closer to the finish line and closer to finishing qualifying, as we make a little bit of a mistake there, not really hitting the apex perfectly and lighting up the rear tyres slightly there coming out of that corner. But here we go now, just coming through the last sequence of corners, trying not to spin the car by putting as little steering input in as possible. But here we go now, guys, coming out of the last corner, up to the line for qualifying and across the line. Where will we qualify for the Portuguese Grand Prix? So, as you can see, myself and Tom are not in the top 14. We thought it would be that sort of qualifying, and yep, as you can see, Tom in P20, I believe he spun on the last corner, so that's why he is 13 seconds off the pace. And for ourselves down in P18, between Latifi and Mazepin, a very poor showing in qualifying here. Hopefully we can both do a little bit better in the race here.
Welcome then to Portimao, one of the busiest towns in the Algarve, and a breathtaking destination that brings tourists from all around the world to the shores of... Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Verstappen, Charles Leclerc and Norris, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Vettel and Esteban Ocon, Tsunoda, Stroll, Kimi Raikkonen and Russell, Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Nicholas Latifi and Wood, Mazepin and Thomas. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Thank you very much, Crofty, as here we are now on the grid for the Portuguese Grand Prix, starting on the dirty side of the grid here. But as you can see, we're looking at the optimum strategy for today's race, starting on the medium compound tyre and then going to the soft compound tyre later on in the race. So here we are, guys, on the grid, ready for the 5 lights. We have Tom directly behind us. 5 lights, and away we go. We're off And it's actually been a bad start from us here at the start of the Grand Prix, as Tom and Mazepin all over our rears. What can we do into turn 1? We go past Latifi, but Latifi re-overtakes us and we're right back where we were. A cheeky little overtake from us here on a good few cars going into that corner, and as we go, we are now past George Russell up into, as it currently stands, P15. As we send it straight up the inside of not only Raikkonen but Mick Schumacher as well, and some good work there to avoid the George Russell wildly coming over the curb there. But unfortunately, because of that, Mick Schumacher's been able to get back past us here as we come out of turn 8 now, over the hill and down. Here we go as we look for a run on Mick Schumacher here, coming towards the end of the first lap. As we lick the stamp and send it on Mick Schumacher, and now we are up another position in this Grand Prix, up to P13 on our medium tyres. It's been very good progress on the first lap here, gaining 6 places on our slower compound tyres, as now the real work begins to start as we have to close down the car in front of us, which is Lance Stroll. And here we are then later on in the lap, as we make a really bold move here past Lance Stroll. We see the gap open there at the apex of the corner and we go for it. And good thing we did, because we're now up to P12 in this Grand Prix, past Lance Stroll, and cutting to lap 3 now, right at the start. Here we are looking for a move on Esteban Ocon now for P11 in this Grand Prix. As we just follow him through this sequence of corners, will we be able to overtake him at the same corner that we overtook Lance Stroll at? Nope, not this time. We're too far back, so we have to reconsider and find the perfect opportunity to overtake Ocon. The back steps out on us a little bit there coming through turn 8, but we have it all under control here as we're just shadowing Ocon to the end of the lap, where the start finish straight gives us the prime opportunity to get this pass done with ERS and DRS. We're into the last corner now of lap number 3, as we're right up behind Esteban Ocon, all over his gearbox. We will have an opportunity with DRS here. Will we be close enough? I think we are. As we go in the slipstream, use the DRS, and we go to the inside here, straight past Ocon, using ERS to power ahead, and we are now up into P11 in this Grand Prix to start lap number 4. And could this be our first point scoring position and our first point scoring race of the series so far?
We can confirm that it's an issue with our engine. Good news, it looks like the fault has been fixed. Our gap to the car in front is 2.2 seconds.
So, as you would have been able to see there, we have been suffering from an engine issue for the majority of this race so far, as unlike Tom, who actually took a new engine penalty at the back of the grid where he was already starting last in this Grand Prix, he has a fresh engine for this race, whereas with us in the McLaren, we did not do that. So our engine is really worn in comparison, and we have one less fresh engine in comparison to Tom. As here we go, cutting onto lap number 8, we are in the pit lane to stop a lap early to hopefully give us a chance to close in on those cars ahead here, as we were struggling to do so the laps beforehand. So I can see that Fernando Alonso has come in with us. He will be our immediate target.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Here we are now, cutting onto lap number 10, as we look to make big inroads on the gap to Fernando Alonso in front of us here, as this will be for that all-important points position, I believe. If we can get past Fernando Alonso, it will mean that we will make history on this channel in the co-op career mode, ladies and gentlemen, with our first points finish of the series. Here we go now, as on lap number 10 our teammate Lando Norris is coming into the pits to strap on a new set of tyres, as we have got the gap down to below a second now to Fernando Alonso in front of us, and crucially another position is right in front of him in Yuki Tsunoda. However, both of us will have DRS, Alonso and myself, Alonso from Tsunoda and myself from him, as we look to make the move, but it could be a bit difficult here as Alonso has DRS also. But here we go, this will be the moment of truth. The gap coming down all of the time to Fernando. Here we go, gaining.
Be with it!
Oh no, no! Awarded a time penalty for that last incident.
Meanwhile, all of that is going on. We've just gone and sent it straight up the inside of Fernando Alonso here at turn number 4 to claim P11 now. But could that time penalty, that 3-second time penalty that we picked up, cost us come the end of the Grand Prix, as we cut a lap later now and making the same sort of move on Yuki Tsunoda at the corner beforehand, as we now are into the points. We are P9. And now it's all about getting that gap here as we cut again to the following lap. And at the exact same corner on Sebastian Vettel, we send it straight down the inside like we did with Tsunoda. And now we are up into P8 into this Grand Prix.
This is your final lap of the race.
And here we are now, cutting onto the final lap of the Grand Prix. And we are pushing like absolute crazy to try and get this gap to the cars behind, to claim some points in this Grand Prix. But as you can see, our tyres are starting to go past the wall, past the cliff, as they say in Formula 1 terms, and the medium tyres of those on the cars around me are starting to have the superior grip over myself here in the McLaren. But all we can do is get our head down and push as hard as we possibly can, as we're into the second sector now. Not long to go, but we lose the rear end there. That's cost us a bit of time, as we're racing now down the hill up towards the last sector. Valtteri Bottas wins the race as we come through the final set of corners here, round the final corner now, putting the hammer down with the ERS, coming up to the line. Will we get some points in this race across the line? Where will we end up? And we actually pick up the Driver of the Day award here, ladies and gents. So, the race organisers and fans have realised that I have had a decent Grand Prix.
Outstanding Grand Prix. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today? After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
I cannot believe it.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
We have finished outside of the points in P11 by 0.4 of a second. We finished outside the points. It's just really not going my way so far in this series.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
Well, yeah, I'm so happy with
Gained a lot
finishing
of
outside the
positions during
points
the
by
race, didn't you?
0.4 of a second.
It's the start of the season. How do you think things are going to go for you?
Hopefully better than they have been so far.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Here we are now, guys, back in the hub as we are looking to put some upgrades on the car to really help swing the momentum going into the next Grand Prix, which will be the Canadian Grand Prix, and that is why we are focusing on quite a big variety of upgrades actually, from aero to chassis to power. Although I had this discussion with Tom, and I feel like it's best looking at some of the tracks that we have coming up to go for a more power-based upgrade trajectory. As you can see there, McLaren ourselves are already top of the power department, so it would be really good to continue that, I think. But as you can see here, with our 1,200 R&D points, spending it here in the aero department, as now we're simming towards the season break.
Okay, we've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
And now we're here just looking at the R&D chart once more with our new resource points from the winter break to see if we can actually go and upgrade anything here. As you can see there, we have had 2 successful upgrades to the chassis department, one being the tyre blankets there, as you can see. But yeah, it looks like there's nothing that we can currently go and upgrade here, so we're going straight in to the season break, as we've had a general wear upgrade, which is good for the performance and the durability of our car, as we get some more weekly resource points as well, an aero upgrade and some more resource points. Okay, and
we've had
that,
the new parts come through the
I
fabrication
believe,
process. We'll have them with
will
us for the
take
next
us
Grand Prix.
up to the Canadian Grand Prix, guys. So if there is anything that you would like to see on the channel in future, whether it be F1 based or whether it be another game or just an opinion video or anything like that, please feel free to let me know in the comments, guys. I really value all of your opinions. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and a huge thank you to Tom again once more. His link to his YouTube channel will be down below in the description, so please make sure to go and drop a sub. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care, stay safe, see ya.